welcome, Spirit-filled Warriors. I'm excited here today. I have the privilege here to have Robert Amaya, well known for Snake King and Courageous, and many other movies and films that you've been doing. And what a blessing it is to have you here in Winchester, Virginia, and a powerful message that you gave and a powerful testimony. So Robert, why don't you tell our viewers here maybe a little bit of what projects you have coming up or what's going on now?
Yeah, there's always, I'm always in the middle of doing something, but for sure, hopefully in 2018 now, I'm tackling some new directing projects. It'll be the first time I'm directing, so I'm really excited about that.
That's great.
I'm about to finish a book that I've been writing for the last year, and so a lot of things in the works. And of course, there's a new film I'll be involved in the spring, early spring. So looking forward to it. It'll be a busy 2018.
That's great. And one of the things I did when I actually was looking on YouTube and researching your name, I didn't realize that you actually have an album out called Revive.
Yes.
How did that come about? And why don't you talk a little bit about that CD?
Yeah, Revive came, it was really a gift for me. From the folks from Sherwood Pictures that we did Courageous with.
Okay.
Those guys, they knew that I sung and stuff. Part of my is that I had gone into the secular music industry, and just before it was a release, everything fell apart. Long story short, music was always a part of me, but I never got to show that. And then, so all these years later, these guys at Sherwood are like, you know what, it would be great, we'll give you this gift, we'll help record you. And so this album was really personal because these were all the songs that I was singing and I was really meditating with during a reconnection I had with God early in 2010 before Sherwood Pictures even happened.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a really personal project. It's short, it's about 8 songs, and but they're great songs, great classics. It's bilingual, so it's both English and Spanish, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, well, that's great. And one of the songs that you have that's one of my personal favorites, old hymn, is Nothing But the Blood that I was telling you. And that's great. So that's Revive and CD. And where can people actually purchase it if they're interested?
Yeah, it's still available on Amazon, iTunes, all the streaming services as well. Really easy to find. On YouTube as well.
Okay. And part of your testimony you mentioned today, you mentioned that you have your family and kids. And why don't you share with the audience here as far as a little bit about your family and daughters? Or
Yeah. I married my high school sweetheart, Colleen, and she is just the biggest blessing in my life because she's my partner in the gospel, and she is an incredible mom, an incredible wife. But I do have 2 kids, 2 girls. I have an 8-year-old girl named Sophia and a 2-year-old named Angelina, who are they are the loves of my life. I mean, I can't imagine life without them.
We appreciate you coming here from Miami, which is a lot warmer and dealing with the cold here, 0 temperatures.
Oh, yeah.
But at least, as you mentioned, you got to wear your suit.
I did. I got to wear my fancy suit I never get to wear because it's so hot in Miami. So I feel good. I feel special.
Well, that's great. Well, one of the things that I always like for people that I interview with to close with, since this is called Spirit-filled Warriors, what recommendation or advice would you give our viewers to stay spiritually fit?
That's funny, actually, that you use that word, staying spiritually fit. There was a project that I haven't finished yet, but that I've been working on for a while about equating the gym with the way we should live in the spirit, right? And so how we stay spiritually fit.
Right.
And so I compare it to a lot of things, but to be very basic or to be very brief, just like you go to a gym, you have to find a good gym, right? You have to find a good place where you can work out. It's the same thing. You got to find a good church. You got to find a great local church where you fit in, where you can work your spiritual muscles in. You need to find a great trainer, right? In the real world, physically, well, you need to find a great pastor, somebody who's going to pour into you, a mentor who's going to also train you and build you up as you gain those spiritual muscles. You need to have a spotter, a partner, right? You always need that as you work out. Same thing. You need to have men or women around you that are going to, encourage you, and they're going to be there when things are hard, and they're going to celebrate you when things are going great. On top of that, then when you're fit and when things are going great, then ultimately you've got to go and you got to tell people about this awesome plan that made you drop weight, that made you fit. Well, the same thing, this awesome plan where Jesus saved you. You got to go out into the world and tell people about this awesome thing that God has done in your life.
Right. Well, that's excellent advice. Well, Well, thank you, viewers, for watching this, and thank you for being on our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
And as always, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and we wish you the best and safe travels as you go back to Miami.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
God
All right.
bless.
Goodbye.
Remember Jesus in Matthew chapter 7? That was me. In January of 2010, my life changed forever. How am I doing with time, bro?
You're good, man.
I'm good. I'm Cuban. I can talk for a while. My life changed forever. I grew up in a Christian home. I cannot remember a single Sunday ever missing church. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And being Latin, and for a while we grew up in Pentecostal church, we had services on Monday through Friday. Saturday was a break for family time, and then Sunday right back at it. So it was like, every day was a service. I was always at church. My dad became a pastor for a while when I was in my teens. And by the time I was about 14, I became what I have termed a professional Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I was a poster boy. See, on the outside, I didn't show anything. Like on the outside, I didn't do drugs. I wasn't sleeping around. I didn't drink. I didn't do anything. I was clean. And I was a poster boy of Christianity. You kind of had to be when your dad was a pastor, right?
That's right.
But I was a professional Christian. See, I knew exactly how to behave when I walked into church. I did. If I went into a Presbyterian church, I knew exactly how to stay quiet. When I went to a Pentecostal church, I knew how to dance like David danced, right?
Yeah.
Went to a Baptist church, and I knew exactly when to raise my hands or when not to, depending on what Baptist church you go to. I could read the crowd.
Yeah.
I had it down. And let me tell you guys, I had everybody fooled,
That's right. I'm with you.
including me. So in January of 2010, not that long ago, unless you're 8 years old, January of 2010, I woke up. It feels kind of weird complaining about this when it's 0 degrees outside, but it was a cold Miami day. It was like 32 degrees. It's so hot right now. It sounds like perspective is everything. Anyway, it was cold. We're not used to that. It was frigid. And woke up to a knock on the door, and it was Florida Power and Light, which is the power company, telling us, you haven't paid. We need to cut your power. My firstborn daughter was about 8 months old at this time. And I had told my wife that, she didn't have to work for the first year raising my daughter, and not to worry about it, that I'd figure it out, I'd be able to hold the fort. So when that happened, I remember looking at my wife, because she was there next to me, when I answered the door. And I gotta tell you, I felt like such a failure. It was one of the most emptying feelings I've ever experienced. Not only was I looking at my wife's eyes, I was looking into my daughter's eyes. And I'm like, my baby, all she had was daddy to help her. Daddy failed. The gentleman left, he cut the power. And I remember I walked into one of my bedrooms and I buried my face in the carpet. And I wept. Oh man, did I weep. I wept so much. Then the only thing that came to my mind was a verse I always heard growing up. Those who call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. So I did that. I called upon the Lord. what I did is I thought, I want him to save me from this circumstance, from this problem. I'm very grateful to God that he had other plans for me, because at that moment, let me tell you, it's as if my whole world just collapsed around me for a second. And it was just God and I. And what happened was, so it was shortly after Christmas. And this is the best way I can describe it. It's as if for the first time my eyes were opened. And you know how a Christmas tree looks all beautiful and decorated and stuff, right? For most people anyway, right? Beautiful decorated Christmas tree. I was like an evil Christmas tree. I was decorated in all of my filth, in all of my failures, in all the evil that I've ever had, because I realized that although on the outside I was shiny, the devil's playground was in my heart and in my mind. Amen. And so I was exposed. I was this evil Christmas tree. And it was as if Jesus Christ shows up as this beautiful Christmas tree. And he tells me, Robert, give me your broken lights. Robert, give me your messed up garland. Robert, give me all your failures, all the things that make you ugly. Give them to me. I'm going to take them and put them upon myself. But it doesn't end there, because Jesus also said, and this is the part I never understood, I never heard. It was that Jesus was saying, all of my perfection, all of my beauty, now I'm going to put it on you. Wow. Now I'm going to put it on you. See, friends, that's the gospel. The gospel isn't just that Jesus died for your sins. Okay? That means if all he did was die for your sins, that means that all he did was clean your slate. And if you're honest, it only takes 0.2 seconds to mess up your slate all over again.
Amen.
Jesus Christ did not just clean your slate. He filled it up to where nothing else can be added or taken away. His righteousness was put upon you. See, I'd always heard Jesus died for your sins. I never heard he gave you his righteousness.
That's good.
And there I was, for the first time, in awe of what Christ had done for me. Later that evening, I got a phone call from a local theater asking if I was available to go do a show. They were doing a run of Miss Saigon and they needed somebody in the show. I never auditioned. That's the equivalent of getting a job you never applied for. So you understand. A random call that somebody mentioned my name. I asked for in advance. They gave it to me. I was able to pay the bill the next day. Get this. God was transforming my life. When that show ended, 2 days before it ended, I got a call from Sherwood Pictures about this movie they wanted to do, and they needed a Latino man to play Javier, the Snake King. Needless to say, my life has never been the same. But it's not because of attention. It's not, no. See, that stuff is meaningless. What matters is this: truth being spoken with other brothers and sisters, so that those who aren't can also share the grace and understand and comprehend the mercy that Christ has for them. This is what it's all about. To be able to exalt Jesus above everything else, and so that we may receive all that he wants to give us.
Amen.
Whom are you talking to? Do you have your prayer time? Who is it? See, I'm not trying to bring doubt. On the contrary, the Bible's very clear. We should examine ourselves.
Right.
I'm not here to rock your faith. I'm here to strengthen it. But you got to be honest. Who are you talking to? Who is it that you're praying to? Is it the God of the Bible? Or is it a false idol, a Jesus you've made up in your own head? Because he's the most comfortable for you. Because it just works for you. Because he's the most socially acceptable for you. I want to be very clear. The world needs real Christians.
Amen.
Amen.
Real Christians who worship a real God. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of pretenders.
That's right.
Not just because they're in my midst, but because they're getting a lot of attention publicly. And I'm tired of it. Christ was very clear. They'll know you're my disciples. How?
Your works.
You love one another. You love one another. The evidence that you love God is that you do what he says.
Amen.
Amen.
Is it getting in? See, I don't want you to hear, oh, here we go, I have to do X, Y, and Z. No, it's not about works.
No.
See, here's the thing about God. Here's the thing about Jesus and understanding it. Now that you don't have to do anything,
Just love.
the more you want to do.
That's right. That's good.
That's it.
Now that you don't have to give anything, the more you want to give. The shackles have been removed. We live in freedom when we accept that grace and that mercy. We're not bound by our past any longer. In fact, we sometimes may boast about it. You know who I was before I became a Christian? Let me tell you. Because my God is so mighty, it's not who I am today.
Amen.
I was encouraged by our brother who gave his testimony over here talking and then praying, brother. I was encouraged by that. This is what the church should be. Confessing our sins to each other. Not so that we point the finger. Ooh, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he was doing? And the gossip and this and that. No. It's so that Christ can be exalted. Wow! Praise God! Did you hear about the drunk that got healed? Praise God! Did you hear about the prostitute who's no longer a prostitute, who's now the biggest giver and the biggest volunteer in our church? Praise God! This is what it's about.
Amen.
We got to get over this mentality that somehow the church is only for real awesome people. We are, I love this phrase, a friend of mine said this, we are a fellowship of losers who have been made into amazing conquerors.
Amen. Amen.
Who are you talking to? Who are you praying to? At night, when you go to sleep, when you wake up, when you thank for your meals, when you teach your children. Is it a real God? Or is it something else? Thank you all for this invitation and for allowing me to share a little bit here with you guys. It is an honor for me. Let me just tell you, I am, so I live in Miami. Miami's where I'm from, Miami, Florida. So this is a bit cold. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cold. Somebody came up to me and they're like, man, you're like dressed up to the nines. And I was like, yeah, well the thing is it's so hot in Miami I never get to dress up. So I'm dressed up for you guys. I love you. And it's cold. But I'm really, really excited to be here. I gotta tell you though, like everything that could come against me to be able to come here today, like has occurred. I mean, so many different things, but last night particularly, I have, I'm married, I have 2 girls. My youngest is 2 years old. Both my girls have been sick. We've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks. We go home tomorrow. But we have in-laws in Charlottesville, which is where I drove from, which, by the way, have I mentioned it's cold? It's been like 18 degrees every day, and then today I read and it says 0, right? -1, actually. As I was walking, I said, can't be that different. It's different, man. I miss those 18 degrees. I tell you. Anyway, so I had these two girls, and my youngest 2-year-old, they both been sick during the entire vacation, but then last night, for whatever reason, she just did not want to sleep. And so I barely slept last night. I think maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then if that wasn't like bad enough, right? I'm coming and I'm getting my stuff ready this morning, and I wake up with like, never happens, a nosebleed. And like it wouldn't stop. No, I'm serious. Like it started freaking me out because I was like, okay. Oh, okay, you know, it's like it kept going and going. Driving over here, it still continued. Like I was freaking out, and I was like, Lord, you know, this is going to be kind of messed up if I'm, you know, start bleeding in front of people while I'm speaking. So if I start talking about the power of the blood, don't freak out. Jesus. But anyway, so I had that. It's under control now. But, you know, it's just been one thing after another. Yeah.